Alright, good morning. In this video, we're going to discuss and show examples on how to transform general form of a quadratic equation to its standard form. So before that, let us recall first what is the general form of a quadratic equation and what is its standard form. Okay, so the general form is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So that is the general form of quadratic function. So that's function. Okay. Then the standard form is y equals a, then so as you can see guys, the a there is being factored here, so that's x minus 8 squared plus k. Okay, so this is the general form, this is the standard form, and our goal for this video is to how to rewrite this to this. Okay, how do you do that? So the general procedure, okay, the general process, or the method that we're going to use is simply completing the square. If you can remember completing the square in solving quadratic equations, that is exactly the method that we're going to use here. Okay, so as you can see, it's completing the square because from this it's like transformed into a square and plus something. Okay, so that is, so let's try with some examples. Number one, we have, let us say y equals x squared. So let's take a look here that a is the value of a is 1. Okay, then we have 6x plus 1. Okay, so this is in general form. Let's rewrite this in its standard form. Okay, so what we're going to do is of course add b over 2 square. So we'll have x squared plus 6x. We're going to add something here, the same with the process of completing the square, plus 1, then subtract again, just add something, then after that subtract something. Okay, so what are we going to add is that what are we going to add here and subtract here is just the half of b then square. Okay, the half of b then square. So let's talk later on why is it add then subtract. Okay, so now our b is 6. If we're going to divide that by 2, that becomes 3. If we're going to square that, that becomes 9. So that becomes 9, and that becomes 9. Okay, so it's like saying plus 9 then subtract 9. Okay, so why is it plus 9 then subtract 9? If you're going to plus 9, the plus 9 here, this one makes it a perfect square, this portion, this trinomial here, the x squared plus 6x plus 9. Adding 9 makes this portion here a perfect square trinomial so that we can factor it into like this. Okay, so what is the idea of subtracting 9? Okay, so as you can see guys, we just touched the right side of this equation. Remember that this is a function, but at the same time, this is also an equation. Okay, whatever you do on the other side, you must do on the other side. That's the rule of equation. So if we add 9 here, we must also add 9 in somewhere in y. Okay, because that's the fundamental rule of equation. But we cannot add 9 to y. We cannot add again, since we cannot add 9 to the y because we will leave that as y, we're going to subtract it here. Subtract 9. The idea is if you're going to add 9, then subtract 9, it's like just adding it. It's just like 0. So we're just maintaining the equation above here. Okay, because you add 9, then you subtract 9. So it's just the same thought. So it's like this equation in the second line and the equation in the first line are just actually the same because we added 9, but at the same time, we subtracted 9, and that is 0. It's like nothing happens. The way just we rewrite it. Okay. So let's proceed to complete factoring it into a square. This one. This one becomes x plus 3 square, and if we're going to simplify this one, this becomes negative 8. So as you can see, a is 1. This is now in standard form. This is now in standard form. So that is easy. So let's proceed to number 2. For number 2, let us say y equals x squared plus 3x minus 5. So let's rewrite this into its general form. We will have y equals x squared plus 3x plus something else, then copy minus 5, then minus something else. Okay. So what are we going to add and subtract is the b over 2 square. What is b? 3. So here we have our b is 3 over 2 squared. Not turn it into decimal. Let's leave it as a fraction. We'll have 9 over 4. Therefore, we will add 9 over 4 here and 9 over 4 here. Okay. Then, by this time, we're going to factor it into a square. So, we'll have y equals, this becomes x plus 3 over 2 square. And let's simplify this portion. We'll have, that will become negative. Okay. So, that is negative 29 over 4. Negative 29 over 4. So it's like saying that our h is negative 3 over 2. So in number 1, our h is negative 3. So because the default form of the standard form is negative h. But since it is positive 3 here, therefore h is negative 3. Okay, our k is negative 8 in number 1. In number 2, our value of h is negative 3 over 2. And our value of k is negative 29 over 4. Okay, or roughly this is 7 and 1/4, I think. Yeah, 7. So let's proceed with number 3. So in number 3, let us say y equals 2x squared. Now, I'm giving an example in which a is not equal to 1. Okay. 1. So, if a is not equal to 1, take note of this. Okay, take note of that. As you can see here, in this one, it's like a is being factored first. Okay, a is being factored first. Okay. So what we're going to do is, we're going to factor 2. We'll take 2 as a common factor. So this will give us y equals 2 times x squared. So how do we get 6? If we're going to divide 6 by 2, we're going to divide that, we'll get 3x. If we're going to divide 1 by 2, we'll get 1/2. Okay? So we already factored the value of a, which is 2. And the next thing is we're going to apply completing the square in the expression inside the parentheses. Okay, so we have y equals, since we're going to apply completing the square here, we're going to enclose it with the bracket. Okay, or maybe not yet. Okay, so let's just do that way. So here we have x squared plus 3x plus something else, then plus 1/2 minus something else. Okay, so again, half of 3 square it is 9/4, the same in number 2. Okay, remember that since 2 is now a factor, after that we're going to distribute it after. So y equals 2 times, let's factor this one. This becomes, so this is the time that you're going to apply our bracket. So because we're going to factor this one into x plus 3/2 square, and 1/2 minus 9/4, that is 7/4. That is minus 7/4. Okay, 7/4. Then after that, what we're going to do is distribute this 2 here, because this is just one term. Okay, and distribute and multiply this there. Okay. So what will happen is y equals, after this one first, we'll get 2 times x plus 3/2 square, and multiply it here, we'll get minus 2 times 7/4. Okay, so simplifying it, we're not going to we're not going to simplify this one. We have minus this becomes 2, so you have 7/2. So this is our standard form. So our a is 2, our h is negative 3/2, and our k is negative 7/2. So we'll go with the last one, number 4. Suppose you have y equals 5x square plus 20x plus 1. So what we're going to do is make factor out 5. 20 divide 5 gives us 4. 1 divide 5 gives us 1/5. Okay, so let's change a little bit so that this becomes a little bit different. Let's make it minus. Okay, so we have apply completing the square in the inside expression. We have minus 4x plus 1, then we have plus 1/5 minus blank. So our b is 4. If we're going to divide that by 2, so remember b/2 square, so that becomes 4 divide 2 is 2, square it 4, then subtract 4. So we'll have y equals 5, factor this one, we'll have x minus 2 square, then simplify this portion, we'll have that is 1/5 minus 4, that will give us negative 19/5. Distribute. Cancelled out 5 in 19 over 5 will have 19. This is our general form. Standard form rather, where A is 5, H is positive 2, and K is negative 19. So that's it.